Can AI create a good F1 track? That was the question I asked in my first video. Short answer is no. But that was ChatGPT, and there are lots of other AIs out there. And the AI I'll be using to make this track is Gemini. After it gives me a layout, I'll make it in Blender and race on it in Assetto Corsa. To start off with, we need a layout, so I've head over to Gemini to try get it to generate us a drivable track. And as you can see, the layouts it's giving us are not too bad. It looks quite similar to Catalonia in Spain, but it has given us a circuit of the Highland Lion. So I imported the picture into Blender as a reference and chased around it with a high quality road mesh. And now it's time to test the track. Jumping into the sim for the first time, I'm trying to see if the track needs any tweaking or if it's good enough. Turn 1 is very wide, so it's quite nice, but then you get to here. This is where the track starts to take a turn. It is just hairpin after hairpin, so I'm not going to tweak it because it's not terrible, but it's not great. But after you've dealt with the hairpins, you get this lovely Suzuka S's. And if you've managed to stay behind the car in front through the S's, you'll be greeted with a nice straight so you can get that overtake. And just like the ChatGPT track, the last corner is just about flat out, so you know exactly what we're doing with the barriers. And with only a handful of crashes, I'd say this track is pretty good, given it's been generated by Google Gemini. Jumping back into Blender, I'm adding the landscape and elevation, but I'm trying to match the profile it gave me, except for Arrow Hill. 145 meters is insane. That is what it looks like. So we are going to do a mild 40 meters, which is the same as Eau Rouge in Belgium. Now that we have the elevation, it's curb time, so I'm going to place the curbs on every corner. We're going to have entry curbs and exit curbs, as well as the curbs at the apex. I'm also going to vary the curb width for more realism. And now it's time to test the curbs. Jumping back into Assetto Corsa, it's time to test the curbs to see if they are too big or too small, or if they're just perfect. And I'm going to say they're pretty good. So let's head back to Blender. With the curbs being a success, it's time to make some room for the pit lane and then place barriers all around the track with some guardrails in there to spice things up a little. We're putting the barriers extra close for some more interesting racing, shall we say. So sit back and relax and enjoy some barriers. With the barriers placed, this track is starting to look like a racetrack. I then painted the pit lines and the grid box lines. I then added sausage curbs to the S's and the chicane. Then I added the starting light and added my pit building. I then added the pit lane lines, which looks amazing. And then some props around the pit lane to make it feel less deserted with trucks, ambos, TV cars and cranes. I then added advertising to the barriers, but not the advertising you'd see in everyday F1. These are AI generated logos. I then added sand traps pretty much everywhere there's some runoff. It's just to make the track a little bit safer. Then I added grandstands so the people have somewhere to sit. And if you're wondering what the purple stuff is, that is magic sauce that makes the crowd appear. I then proceeded to place the grandstands pretty much at every corner so we can fit as many people as we possibly can on this track. Then after all the grandstands, it's time to add some cranes and ambulances to the runoff areas, and then some billboards to put more ads. But instead of saying subscribe to Revelo, which you should do, we're going to put some more AI advertising on them. I then added the pit limiter line and exit sign. To make this track feel more realistic, I'm going to add some facilities and campground to make the track feel more realistic so it's not all just trees. Speaking of trees, it's time to add the trees all around the track. I want this track to feel like it's almost in a forest, so we're going to do that by just adding trees pretty much everywhere there's just space. We're going to add some pine trees in there for some variation on both sides of the guardrail straight and just all around forest. I'm then gonna add some variation with the rotation and scale for realism. And now it's just the final touches with brake meter boards. And to my surprise, there's a lot of places where we need them. Speaking of things we need, we can't have a modern F1 track without the straight mode boards. And with that, the track is ready to be raced on. It's lights out and away we go here at the Gemini Grand Prix. We got a bit of wheel spin off the start, which is not ideal, so we're gonna have to burn the battery. But oh my god, everyone is so slow on the straight. What is happening? That is 4 positions gained already. What's gonna happen into turn 1? We're gonna go around the outside. Oh my god, there's been a crash. There's a massive crash around the outside. About 10 people. Will we get some space? No. Lindblad pushes us into the grass. Oh, the Audi and the Rebel have crashed. We are up to P7. 16 positions gained in a couple of corners. That is an absolute dream getaway. Wow, you cannot make this stuff up. The AI have completely crashed into turn 1. No way. What a dream start. Now going through my favorite section of the track, the uphill Suzuka S's. You cannot beat that. Can we get Lewis Hamilton, the Ferrari front? Oh, he's had a bit of a wiggle. Gives us a mega run, burning the battery. Where do we brake? Oh, it's a bit early. Lewis Hamilton gets back by us. Can we get him before the main straight? We're very close. Can we get him around on the outside of the last corner? It is a very dangerous move. Oh, we're going to sit back and burn the battery and absolutely sail past Lewis Hamilton. See you later. The AI seem to be struggling up the hill here with the S's. They seem to be not able to take a flat out. So that is a great advantage for us trying to complete this last to first challenge. So far it is going well, as Kimi Antonelli has a wiggle. Is that enough to get past? No, we're going to back out of that one. I don't feel like he's going to leave this plate as we lock the rears. That is not ideal. Go very deep. Can we get him on the next straight? We've got to be very brave. Can we go around the outside? That would be an absolute insane move. Let's try to do it. Come on. Get a great exit, keep the foot flat, or around the outside, not quite flat out, but oh my god, he's pushed us right to the wall. What a move. We have to see a replay of that one. That was the best move so far as we set the fastest lap of the race. As we now have Max Verstappen as the driver in front. Oh, looks like he's hit Charles. He's hit Charles. Does that give us an opportunity to go around the outside maybe? No, he's closed that dirt pretty early. Can we stick with him through the hairpins? It's going to be a challenge to try and stick with him up the S's as well. But can we pass him on that straight? Oh, we gain a lot through the S's. Too much, in fact. We have to back off, otherwise we'll just drive straight into the back of him. But can we get a mega exit? Oh, he's out of wiggle. Burning the battery. See you later, Max Verstappen. Can we get Charles Leclerc before the start of the next lap? We are running out of laps to try and catch George Russell. Can we go around the outside like we did with Antonelli? Oh, yes we can. What a move. Straight to the wall once again. Straight past once again. See you later, Charles Leclerc. George Russell, I'm coming for you. And if you're wondering why I'm in the McLaren, well, it's a simple answer. And that if you see on the right side of the halo, it says Gemini, which means they are sponsored. So it's pretty simple. Oh, this uphill Suzuka is so nice. We need to make sure that we are gaining on George Russell. Oh, I'm going to deep. Oh no. Okay, we saved it just about. Only putting one wheel in the dirt. Can we still gain on George Russell? This is such a tricky corner. It's quite heavy on the brakes as we almost lose the rear once again. The rear is very, very wiggly. As you can see, we are gaining on George Russell by quite a bit as he is just there. So we're going to burn the battery. We're going to deploy to try and gain as much as we possibly can on the straight as we set the new fastest lap of the race. Come on. Surely we can win it from here. Going to turn 1. Looks like George gets a little bit of a wiggle. Slowly gaining. This is very good stuff. We've been able to stay very close through the hairpins, but can we keep it close through the S's as well? And we're very close to George Russell now. We are so close. Do we have the battery to go past him? Side by side. Surely. I think I'm going to let him have it. We can get him on the main straight. Oh, the rear is almost gone. Almost into the gravel. That was almost race done. That's the last time we'll let George live. Can we keep it close? Can we pass him on this straight? We've got 6 laps. or 5 laps to get the move done. Surely we can do it. Oh, on the grass, very nearly in the wall, but there's a big slipstream. But we're not gaining on the straight. He's burning the battery. He's learning. Oh no, this is not good. We've been gaining and doing a lot of our overtakes on the main straight, but if they're burning as well... Oh, I was going to say if they're burning as well, there's no chances. But George has had a big mistake. Can we capitalize and take the lead from George Russell? This is the closest we've been to George all race. And we have 4 laps to try and get this overtake done and take the victory away from George Russell. Can we keep it with him through the S's? It's going to be very hard. Look at that exit. He has completely gapped us, but we are keeping the foot flat pretty much. Oh, he's too slow. We got to let off. We need to get a mega run on George Russell with only 4 laps to go. We really need to get this overtake done, just in case we make any mistakes. We've got the battery going, but we're not gaining on George Russell. This might be a problem going forward, so we're going to have to figure out where we can get some advantage on George as we're heading into turn 1. We've got to try to brake later than him. Oh, he's had a big snap. This could be the opportunity we needed to pass him. Unfortunately, we are not quite close enough to make any moves into the hairpins. We're going to try and stay close to maybe make an overtake on the next straight if we can keep it close through the Suzuka S's as well, which is going to be challenging, but we're going to have to try to overtake George Russell as he just gets a better exit. So we have to keep the foot pinned to gain on George Russell like we do, but we got to try brake early, get a good exit. Can we get the switch back? George has a bit of a bad exit. We are side by side. We are now ahead. Let's go. That is the overtake we needed. Oh, I braked on the curb. That lets George Russell back by. Ran wide. That is not ideal. But we are very close to George Russell now. Can we try and go around that outside of the last corner? Oh, we're going to run out of road. We're going to back out of that one. But can we burn the battery? Open the active aero and sail past George Russell once again. Oh no, he's burning the battery. He's re-overtaken us. I cannot believe this. We're gonna have to sit behind for another lap. This is not ideal in the slide. Oh, he has another little wiggle. Can we go around that side? Oh no, he's pushed me wide. No space given. This is great racing from George Russell. Up the hill once again. Can we gain on George Russell? We got to really make up some ground into this corner as we go, sending it in on the brakes, running right out to the edge of the track. Great run, burning the battery. We're not close enough to make the move on George Russell, but oh, we have another little rear snap. Thankfully keeping it out of the gravel. Now, can we get George? We are running out of laps. We've got 2 laps to make the overtake. Very close through the last corner. Oh, bit of understeer, must have been in the dirty air. We're going to burn the battery and open the active aero once again. About to start the second last lap of this race. Can we get the move done into turn 1? We pull out of the slipstream and we pass George Russell for the lead of this race from P22 to P1 with 1 lap left. Can we keep it out of the wall? George Russell has gained a bit on us through the hairpins, but we've now got the gap to over half a second. And with our gains through the uphill Suzuka, surely this gap will keep getting bigger. As we're about to start the final lap of this race. What a race it has been. An absolute blast. As we open the active aero again, burning the battery. Can we set the fastest lap of the race? Yes, we can. What an absolute banger of a lap that was. As we're going through the hairpins for the very last time this race. They are challenging to drive, but rewarding when you get them right. As we wave to all the fans at the campground, they've seen a lot of action today. As we're making our way through the last couple of corners, we're going to win the first ever Gemini Grand Prix here at Circuit of the Highland Lion. As we come through the final corner, we are going to win from starting last on the grid. Oh my god, no! Oh my god, that was almost race over right at the end as we tap the wall. That could have been race done, but we are going to take the checkered flag and win. If you want to race on this track for yourself, there's a link to the track download on my Patreon in the description. Also comment which AI I should do next. But if you made it this far, you should know you're an absolute legend and you could consider liking the video or subscribing, as it's the freest way to support my work. And if you want to see the first time we tried this challenge with ChatGPT, click the video on screen now. I'll see you there. Goodbye.